of scary that people are watching so much of other people's lives and forgetting to actually live their own. Think about if you were to put as much attention and obsession and time into your own life as you do into watching other people live theirs. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a really long time since I've been consistent with filming videos on YouTube, but thanks for being here watching this video. My very last video that I posted about 4 months ago, I said how I was going to take a step back from talking so much about social media because I was just sick of it, but I'm actually here with another video talking about social media because this is just what I feel so called to do. I just can't help it. No matter how hard I resist wanting or needing to talk about it, it just keeps coming back to me, and something just fires me up or makes me want to come back and start talking about it. So here I am, another video, which is why today we're going to be talking about why you want to but won't leave social media for good. I'm not going to try to curate my messages to try to please everybody anymore. I've done a really good job in the past at making sure that I don't offend or say something that might be offensive, but I'm done curating my messages to try to please everybody. I'm just here for the people who have felt the pull, who have felt it in their heart that they should leave social media or spend significant amount of time less on there, and who are just craving and desiring a life more lived offline. I'm here for those people who have felt that in their heart and who have been ignoring it or struggling to actually follow through with that decision and battling inside their head, feeling like they might be the only one, etc., fill in the blank. But I'm here for those people, not for the masses. You know, I have been off of Instagram for 7 years now. This is how I live my life. I'm walking, talking example of exactly what I'm talking about in these videos. It's not just a little period of time in my life that I'm deciding to do. No, I'm gone forever. I will never go back. No matter what, I will never create another account. I'm trying to help you or paint a picture to see the joy that can be felt and had very consistently in a life lived offline. I am a total advocate for not having social media, specifically Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, those types of social media. And I'm fully aware that YouTube is social media also, but if you're being completely honest, you know it's completely different than those platforms. I'm gonna be here trying my very best to say something that will move you into action to make a change for the better in your life. So today I want to talk about why you want to but won't leave social media. And I'm talking about for good because this was inspired by all the conversations I've had over the years with those of you, specifically in my email, sometimes in the comments, that have tried to leave social media. You've done detoxes for a period of time and you want to leave for good, but you just can't seem to stay off. And some people even stay off for longer chunks of time and they end up right back a few months, weeks, sometimes years later. So it is so interesting to me and I really want to try to figure this out, but I'm going to share in this video what the conversations that I've had, what I've discovered, and some of my own thoughts on why you want to but won't leave social media. To begin, let's read a comment that was left on my video about why I left Instagram 3 years ago, which was now 7 years, by Renee. She says, "I love this. I deleted mine almost a year ago and don't regret it. I've noticed how much better I feel mentally. Hearing friends talk about it and the toxicity it brings in their lives has just proven to me the positive choice I took. They asked me why and how I felt about deleting my Instagram and they have the same feelings. It's eye-opening as to how many people share the same feelings about it and choose to keep it." This exact situation that Renee had where her friends are saying, you know, that they've had the same feelings, yet they choose to stay. This is how most of my interactions go when people hear that I don't have a social media account. And before I even say why or we get into talking more about it, they instantly will say something negative about social media. They start talking about the negative things that are often associated but not taken apparently super seriously around social media. Or they'll say, I'd be better off without it. I've done detoxes in the past. I've taken time off and I felt so much better. Yet they're still on the platform. So this is something that is so fascinating to me. Why people know they would be better for them, but they still are choosing to stay. They want to leave, but they don't. Why is this? Obviously it's addicting. Maybe you feel pressure to be on there because your peers are, and it's just something that seems like, you know, this is what everyone does. And we just accept the side effects that come along with it because everyone else does, so I do too. It freaks me out that something that has this much of an effect on us individually and as a society, and is shaping many of us, making us into people who we might not have become otherwise. And I'm not quite sure that's a good thing. Let's look at an email that I received from Micah, and let's read about Micah's experience before we continue talking about this subject. Micah says, I deleted my social media accounts in December 2017. From the aforementioned date until last week, I'd been bouncing on and off social media constantly. Sound familiar? I'd make a social media account, usually Instagram, then within a month or two, I'd delete it. Last week, I decided I'm not going back to social media ever again. Life offline is too good, but I kept falling into the trap of FOMO. Every time I'd get back on my social media, I'd realize I wasn't missing anything. Posting my accomplishments, taking the perfect selfie, keeping a Snapchat streak going, having hundreds of Facebook friends or thousands of IG followers, etc. is completely meaningless. What is meaningful is acknowledging your own accomplishments without seeking validation from the world. Enjoying places or things without having to post to show the world you're having fun, connecting with your family and friends in real life, etc. I'm looking forward to creating the best version of myself as well as the life I desire offline, not on an online account. I love this email for a couple of reasons, so I wanted to highlight a couple of things that Micah says. Life offline is too good, but I kept falling into the trap of FOMO. Every time I go back on social media, I realize I wasn't missing anything. How many of you have had that very same experience? No matter how far back you decide to scroll the day you log back, and you could scroll all the way back to probably the day that you left. And after catching yourself up, you might realize that you did not miss anything. Most of the time, that is the scenario. You realize you didn't miss a thing that improved or made your life better, or that you just needed to know. This illusion of sorts of FOMO that you're gonna miss out if you don't see what's going on 24/7. So you test that thing out and you go back and you look. And these huge tech companies, genius people, they are, have a hook on so many of us, too many of us. Micah then talks about going back on and the accomplishments and the followers and the validation, and how the things that he was seeking online were actually completely meaningless. He has figured out what matters most to him and what fulfills him most, and he's found that offline. Could you believe it? Offline. You know, it's enjoying things, enjoying people, enjoying places without showing the world, and just having those experiences and connecting in real life. It sounds to me like Micah's caught the bug, the offline life being more meaningful and more fulfilling than anything that Micah has ever found online. There's for sure something to take note about there, and I know all about it. I wish Micah the very best this time with going offline. I believe that you'll do it, and I believe that you'll be better off because of it, and I know that you'll find and become that greater and better version of yourself, just like you said in your email that you're wanting to become. And like he says, all of this and more to be found offline. Are you similar to Renee's friends who knows, and you know someone who's left, and you've had similar feelings to do the same, yet you haven't decided to, or you've tried and haven't successfully done so? Leave a comment below letting me know your experience so that I can better understand, and we can better understand and help each other to successfully leave if that is your goal. Or if you're someone like Micah who's bounced on and off for years, what keeps you coming back? Why can't you just leave for good? Leave that also in the comments below. You know, sometimes I think with how many people I have this conversation with who want to leave or who have tried and who just keep ending up back where they started. Sometimes I wonder if maybe they just weren't ready yet. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe this time will be their time. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Obviously, it's such an individual thing. Maybe there has to be an event in your life that has to take place that finally gets you to go off. Or maybe you have to have a certain realization or epiphany, or I don't know. Maybe you just become so suddenly aware and you decide you care so much about yourself and your mental health and your well-being and the rest of your life that is ahead of you, and you decide that you're ready to leave. Or maybe you go back because you didn't do enough offline. It's maybe you didn't fill that time with meaningful things or new habits or interactions or experiences in real life offline. So offline didn't seem so good for you. I do not know the answer, and I know that there's not one that fits all. That's why I'm hoping you'll leave your thoughts or your experiences in the description below. But it is something that is just so extremely fascinating to me, and here's what I honestly believe. I believe you are so much stronger than you think you are. I believe you're giving too much power to these apps. It's an app versus you. your life, the app. You are a human being. Yes, the app was created by super smart human beings, but you are so much stronger than you think you are. You are capable of leaving social media for good. If that is what you want to do, you can do that. Don't let the app or anyone else tell you otherwise. Have we gotten so weak as a society or as individuals that we can't do hard things anymore? I think it's helpful to say to yourself when you leave, I'm leaving social media to begin living my life this way, to start doing these things, rather than I'm leaving and losing friends, I'm going to be losing followers, I'm going to be losing validation, I'm going to be losing a time filler, I'm going to be losing a distraction, I'm going to be losing my life that is curated online, that people believe and think about me, instead of framing it as you're going to be losing something, frame it as you're going to gain something, because you will, and you totally can gain so much more offline than anything online could ever offer to you. So frame it as something that is exciting, the start of a new chapter for you. Think about all the time you're going to have on your hands. Think about all the extra mind capacity and the control that you'll better have over your thoughts, which then become your actions. You know, think about how you're done with the hamster wheel, you're done letting social media groom you to be just like everybody else in the next best thing that comes online. The way that you frame this decision and how you go about it, the next steps that you take after, are everything. Once you've done that, make a plan of action for combating feelings of wanting to go back. When you feel like creating a new account or going back on, what are you going to do? Literally, what are you going to do? You have all this free time on your hands. You really want to go back because you're kind of bored. What are you going to do instead? What are you going to decide to do with that newfound precious time? When you're feeling lonely, who will you reach out to, or where will you decide to go? Seriously, plan these things out so that you won't buy into any lie or justification that your mind is going to try to convince you of. So if you feel the urge to leave your social media, remember Renee, and remember Micah, and remember me. You are not the only one. Maybe in your circle, maybe in the total grand scheme of things, it might seem like you're the only person, but I can assure you, you are not the only person who is battling these feelings inside yourself of maybe feeling pressure from society to stay in the norm, or they're experiencing FOMO, or to feel lonely, or feeling like they're the only one, but you really are not. Get your facts straight. What if you were the one who had it all figured out and everybody else who was staying was just settling to be clones? I'm teasing, but I'm also kind of serious. You have everything to gain offline and really not that much to lose online in comparison. I think people want to, but won't leave social media because they are addicted to watching other people's lives. I know how Instagram works now. Although I was off before stories were ever a thing, I feel like stories have made people feel like they are legit friends with these people. They know what they're doing down to the minute. They see things in real time. It's allowed people to see a closer look, and I say that in quotes for a reason, into people's lives. Therefore, they feel like they kind of, know them really well, or they are maybe even a little bit of a part of their lives. This is honestly so weird and freaky because you don't actually know them. They can live clear across the country, clear across the world from you, and yet you know everything supposedly about their life, and you feel this like weird connection with them, when honestly there's actually nothing there. It's kind of scary that people are watching so much of other people's lives and forgetting to actually live their own. Think about if you were to put as much attention and obsession and time into your own life as you do into watching other people live theirs. Now, I want to say something that maybe you've never heard before. Social media actually isn't a requirement for life. It isn't a requirement for happiness or for fulfillment or for feeling like you're recognized or appreciated or feeling like you have friends or whatever it is for you. Social media is absolutely not a requirement for this life, no matter what anyone tells you or how anybody makes you feel. It is not a requirement. You do have a choice. You can choose to love yourself and love your life more than you love knowing what's going on in so-and-so's life and in their curated world, and that decision alone could make all the difference for you. Next, I did want to make sure that I brought up the loneliness factor. People feeling lonely when they leave social media, because I know this is a really huge concern of people's and problem when they when they do leave. So I want to be completely honest about this. Will being offline force you to do things maybe you haven't done before, maybe not for a really long time, maybe make you a little bit uncomfortable? Yeah, probably, absolutely, because we've gotten so comfortable hiding behind screens, and now doing things in person feels a little bit foreign to us. So yeah, you're gonna have to get your butt into gear to keep relationships going, figure out the real ones, make new ones, to connect with family members if maybe they're far, far away from you. You're going to have to put in some extra effort to make these things a priority and to make them still present and more real in your life. You know what? You might have to be that person who, when you get together with all your friends or your family, everyone's just sitting down looking at their phones. You might be the person who has to be like, hey, so we were gonna hang out. Should we actually do that? Or I guess we could just all go home and do this in our rooms, because why are we even sitting here together if we're all just looking down at our phones? And honestly, if you have this experience where you have to be the one who speaks up and is like, let's go do something, let's talk about this, or put your phone down. If you're that person who's telling people to like cut it out, this maybe will feel uncomfortable for you, maybe it won't be, but I bet you'll have an experience at some point in time where someone who is in that circle, someone who is in that group, and there says to you, or thinks this, or they won't actually say it, but they're relieved that you said something, because they're just kind of molding and mirroring what everyone else is doing, but they're really thinking the same thing. And you're brave enough to actually stand up and say something and have fun and connect with each other. So you could be doing a favor to those people who are too afraid to stand up, and you could even be the example to them of what they hope to do. And if they see you doing it, they'll feel more confident about themselves, you know, leaning into that thought that maybe they want to leave also. You could open the door and give people newfound hope just off of your one decision. I know, because I've experienced it myself, and you can too. I know it is possible for you to make friends offline if that is something that you are concerned about. Yes, it may require you to do things you've never done before or haven't done for a long time and make you a little bit uncomfortable, but that's what you have to do to experience a different result. But at least you have the freedom enough to have options. So take advantage of that. Look, I know I'm a super unpopular opinion here. I've been talking about this since 2018. I've been living it since even before that time. But truly, I am hoping for and pushing for a life lived more offline. Not only for myself and my family, but for those of you who want to experience the joy that can come from doing so. I am continuing to be completely honest. I'm also doing this for my daughter and for my future children. I don't want them to have social media growing up, and I want them to one day, when they get to decide, you know, if they're going to join at some point in time in their lives, which is so freaky to think about that. I want them to make the decision for themselves not to, because they've lived and experienced and seen how we as our family have lived our life, and they've found so much joy and fulfillment, and seen what mom and dad have found offline also, that they don't feel like they need to maybe follow the pressures of their friends or of society, that they can be completely happy and better off without social media too. Now, if you want to leave social media, don't overcomplicate it. Just do it. Don't let FOMO, your failed attempts in the past, you fill in the blank, the pressures from society, whatever it might be, keep you from doing what you feel in your heart. I 1000% believe in you and your ability to leave and stay off, but you have to believe in yourself. It takes one decision and the will to see that decision through to make it happen. So if you feel that pull, don't deny yourself the opportunity of a lifetime to start living your life offline. Do not waste another day. Lean, I'm gonna get real close and personal here. Lean into that feeling. Let it take you to the incredible places offline will take you. I truly wish you the very, very best, and I hope to hear from you in the comments or in my email, where I will support you, I will cheer you on, and so will so many others. So leave a comment letting us know if you are ready to follow your heart and make one of the best decisions of your life. And if you're not already on it, go into the description box and join my letter. I call it the Offline Diaries, that I send out very inconsistently, but it's where I stay connected with you guys offline and help you stay motivated to live a life more offline. You can find out how to become a part of my letter in the description box below. Thank you again so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will catch you next time.